If you're anything like me, then you just didn't play during Season of the Deep. However, you did watch this opening cutscene where this basic-ass Guardian gets fused with the hull of his ship like something out of the Interface web series, but did you know that this Guardian has a name? It's Joxer, and he's had his hand in some past events. So join me today as I cover the complete story of Joxer, the Gambit Titan. The earliest mention we have of Joxer is from the Last Wish raid. More specifically, the Plate of the Great Hunt chess piece. Have a listen. Joxer checked the safety on his rifle for the 9th time. Ilian of the Techian stepped out of the greyness before him. A massive coffin-shaped container levitated at her side. "You won't need that," Ilian said of the rifle. Joxer kept it in his hands. "All that light, and still your key motivation is fear. It's fear that drives you to ask the Queen for help. The Ahamkara are blasting and paving entire regions of Venus," he said. "They wouldn't be so base. They're rewriting Venus. Whatever it is, it's a problem I can't punch. Do you have the guns that will help or not?" The massive container lowered itself before the Titan. Ilian lifted the lid, and pale cosmic light from within reflected off Joxer's eyes. "Long rifles, close-quarter weapons, silent killers in the night, all yours to borrow. You must return these when your hunt is complete." "Why?" Joxer frowned. "Those are the conditions of her bargain. Take it or leave it." "Her? The Queen?" Ilian did not respond. From this, we gather that, like many Guardians from around this time, Joxer participated in the Great Hunt, and used some awoken armaments to aid in his eradication of a species. We skip ahead for some time, and the next mention of Joxer we get is the Ancient Apocalypse arms and mark. We also get reference to another character during this conversation, Redrix, notable for his Claymore, Broadsword, and E-Stock, all of which have plagued PvP.
Let's go back to last fucking season, dude. It's waiting for you.
Drifter had a problem. He had figured this train was guarded by Red Jacks. He had killed 2 of them out in the back of this car. He could see the supply crates he was looking for just past the shoulders of 2 massive Titans, their armor branded with Crucible insignias, which meant Drifter would have to be careful with his negotiations. They raised their rifles. Jiangxi AR-4s. Nice pieces. "Whoa, hey!" Drifter began. He raised his arms to the roof. "Not looking for trouble?" They looked at each other, then considered him for a second. "The hell are you doing around here, Drifter?" the one said on the left. The Drifter chuckled. "Joxer, how you living?" "Don't let him charm you," whispered the one on the right. "Redrix?" Drifter had found himself in a couple of Gambit regulars. "Listen, brothers, I gotta get those supply crates back there. You know how hard it is for me to come across certain pieces. I'm a scavenger. Live a hard life. Cut me some slack." "Zavala wouldn't like that, Drifter," said Joxer. Drifter raised an eyebrow. "You telling me the Vanguard actually has power over you?" They didn't respond. Drifter leaned in. "Listen, you do this for me, and I'll make sure you get paid. Just show up for Gambit next week. Double the rate for motes." The Titans looked at each other again. Drifter made his way back towards the rear of the train, from where he had come. He passed Joxer and Redrix, who had apparently found the Red Jacks Drifter had decapitated. The 2 scrambled to put the frames back together before the train reached the city. "You guys need to take a load off," Drifter told him. "Go to hell, Drifter," Redrix said, clearly annoyed. He and Joxer stared at the Tex Mechanica pieces Drifter wore. They looked like they were having second thoughts. Drifter unslung the rocket launcher so he could sit down with them. "Listen, brothers, I'm doing this for a reason. Gambit is for a reason. You think I like going out here with you every day? You're all psychos. No, I don't like it, but I do it because there's a good reason." He pulled a mote of dark from out of his pocket. It glowed coldly. "Think about how many motes of light you've collected over your lifetime. A lot, right?" "I miss my Mythoclast," Joxer said. Drifter could hear the frown in his voice. "Yeah, you had a Mythoclast. And still, the Cabal took the tower. The light failed you. Failed me too." The Drifter held a mote of dark up to them. "This, though, this is something special. I made them. And you've seen the things you can do when you get a handful of them. Think long and hard about it." Drifter slung the launcher back on his shoulder and turned to leave without looking back. Stick with me long enough, and I'll show you what the dock can really do. This is also the first on-record talk with the Drifter, who would go on to be the focal point of Joxer's story. What's this about? Joxer asked. The Titan sat across from the rogue lightbearer, only known as the Drifter. Between them, unloaded rifles, hand cannons, and Last City food wrappers lay strewn across the derelict's rusty deck. Joxer could feel the ship's engine humming underneath his boots, reverberating through the chamber. Think of it as a job interview, Drifter replied. I got a whole new operation about to come online, and Gambit was training for it. You're one of the best candidates I got. Beneath his helmet, Joxer raised an eyebrow. You sure about that? I'm no hero of the Red War. Drifter chuckled. Why does everyone think I got a mat on for that one? Joxer shook his head. I heard you two forged a gun together. Drifter frowned. Hand to my heart, it wasn't just us. Whole bunch of folks running around with malfeasance hand cannons these days. My grandma, too. That Primeval really knows how to run. Joxer snarled at the deck. Listen, big guy. Drifter leaned back. Not my fault you keep missing the shot. Joxer stood up out of his seat and towered over the man. Hey, my bad, brother. Drifter held up a hand. Your motes are always good here, whether you're packing malfeasance or not. What I need done, only a specialist like you can do. Joxer stared down at him. What do you mean? I seen you out there. You get how the Taken feel, how the darkness flows. You revel in it. Joxer sat back down slowly. You're a born invader, my friend. The best. Drifter smiled again, with lightness in his eyes. And I'll need someone like you to test out my new project before I unveil it to the unwashed masses. Gambit Prime. Sounds like a promotion at my local Sparrow dealership. You want to get paid or not? What do I kill? Drifter scowled at a notch in his glaive as he buffed the blade with a heavy cloth. A large attaché case rested heavily at his feet. He and Joxer were back aboard the derelict. The Titan held his head in his hands. His glowing armor suffused the room with a blood-red warmth. Cheer up, brother, Drifter said. That didn't go too bad. 3 Guardians are dead, Joxer replied, looking up to stare at the rogue lightbearer. That's right, Drifter quipped, continuing to clean his weapon. In the dirt, never coming back. Their ghosts got sloppy. You give the Taken a chance and they'll snuff out your light. The fact you're alive means your ghost knows what he's doing. You said it was a test run. What do you think you are? The Crucible? Gambit Prime's for keeps. Test or no. You son of a... Leave the name calling to me, hotshot. Let's wrap up this debrief and you get paid. You could have helped them. Drifter stood, slamming the butt of his freshly polished glaive into the attaché case at his feet. You got yourself out, leaning on the weapon. You didn't need help. You could have stopped those Taken. You could have saved them all. I paid you to try on that armor. How's it treating you? Joxer went silent. It worked exactly like you said it would, he responded finally. I invaded the other side. The armor locked the bank down, and I took their motes right out of it, like they were mine. He looked down at the deck. We wiped them out. Yes, you did, Drifter said, nodding along fiercely with each detail. You're giving everyone a set of these? If they can build it themselves, I'll gladly provide the engram prints, he smiled. Your fire team, may they rest in peace. They help you out? Joxer took off his helmet, rubbed his eyes. We didn't use names like you told us. The Warlock watched our bank. Like a one-man private security company, Drifter nodded. He always seemed to know where the other invader was. A sentry worth their salt always does. And the Hunter, she was a beast. She tore through the Cabal like they were made of paper. Your team's Reaper, Drifter claimed. She's like you, a born killer, but specializing in the enemies of humanity. Your Collector's best friend. Yeah, the Collector. One squirrely Titan. He hit a lot. Grabbed a bunch of motes. Drifter snickered. You thought he was useless, didn't ya? Joxer sighed. Till he dropped the meanest Taken I've ever seen on the enemy side. Brother, if you manage to summon a giant blocker, Drifter shook his head, grinning. That thing's gotta eat. We had them. We gutted the opposing team. It's just... The Titan stopped speaking. He didn't lift his head, still staring at the deck. The Primeval? Drifter said with a touch of pride. That Primeval took us apart. Drifter shrugged. You found the one that matched your strength. Lesson learned. Make sure your ghost stays on his toes. They're all dead, Joxer said again. Yeah, in a town full of immortals, Drifter said. Who'd have thought? Their cut goes to you, and a little extra to keep, the details out of sight from the Vanguard. The rogue lightbearer kicked the attaché case across the deck. Joxer picked it up without opening it. More where that came from, if you want the work, Drifter said, leaning against his glaive again. You're on your own. Joxer stood up and walked past the Drifter. He left the chamber, massive case in tow. You can keep that armor, Drifter called after him, not bothering to turn around. As the Titan's footsteps echoed down the hall towards the derelict's hangar, a ghost emerged from a dark alcove. How much data you pick up? The Drifter asked. The ghost's eyes glowed a dark red as it projected patterns across the metal deck, scrolling streams of statistics and figures for each candidate in their roles. 3 ghost feeds hung in the air, playing on loop, each one restarted as the same massive taken came onto focus. The Drifter took it all in, his eyes reflecting the blood red of the ghost's light. His smile was all teeth. After the events of Gambit Prime, Joxer would heavily turn to the Vanguard, and during Season of the Arrivals, pay Drifter a visit. The Drifter slouched against the bulkhead of the derelict, a pile of dark motes scattered across the table in front of him. He fixes his gaze on the massive Titan, the sharpness in his eyes belaying his casual posture. I'm surprised you got the time to come around here, hassling me about these tiny motes, Joxer. Seems like you got the big deal in orbit around I.O. That's where the Vanguard ought to be. The Drifter's hands rest casually on the handle of a thick, breech-loaded grenade launcher. And ain't you Vanguard through and through these days? Joxer snorts at the irony. I'm not here to hassle you, Drifter. On the contrary, consider this a friendly warning. Friendly, huh? That's what we are now. Drifter's grasp on the grenade launcher tightens. Now you raised my suspicion. You better speak plain, Joxer, or prepare to draw. The Titan shakes his head in exasperation. Some say those pyramids damn near wiped us out once. Nobody knows for sure, but if they do end up hostile, it's going to get heavy in a hurry. And you don't want to be the guy standing in the middle holding a bag of dark motes. And what the hell business it is of yours where I'm standing? The Drifter asks as he plants his boots on the deck. He rises to his feet, the grenade launcher dangling from his hand. Unless I'm standing in your way. Joxer puts his hands up in mock surrender. You know what? I came here because I'm trying to change. Making amends. After what happened at Gambit Prime, I had to get right. And part of that is giving you some friendly advice to lay low for a while. He glances down at the dark motes. But if you don't want to hear reason, that's on you. Joxer trundles his way to the back of the ship as the airlock hisses open. Drifter calls out, That's real nice armor, Joxer. Don't you forget where you got it. We don't hear about Joxer for a while after this, until Season of the Deep, when he would meet his end. We learn this from the acrostic revelation exotic ship. Rosy light bathes the cockpit of a hawk moving at cruising speed high above the earth. Up ahead, the traveler hangs motionless against the blackness of space. A triangular gateway of iridescent light bleeding from its shell. It was one thing volunteering for this mission, but sitting now on the precipice of the unknown. The Titan Joxer holds his doubt close to his chest. This isn't anything different from the Ahamkara hunts, his ghost reassures. Reckless, hasty, and dangerous. Joxer glances over at his ghost and smiles, already feeling better. The 2 Cabal escorts on either side of Joxer's hawk stall their engines, letting the hawk proceed forward toward the traveler. They say something over the comms in Ullerithan. The translation roughly means, Beyond the known is the terror of the universe. His ghost offers. Joxer's not sure if it's a warning, a curse, or a pep talk. Knowing the Cabal, it's all 3. Easing the flight stick forward, Joxer moves the hawk ahead at a steady pace. His ghost's eyes widen as the rosy light from the portal brightens, and the kaleidoscopic surface is all that can be seen in any direction. Joxer's grip on the controls tightens as he feels a bone-deep sense of vertigo. tinkling in his periphery. He can feel hands on his chest beneath his armor, breath against his cheek inside the helmet. Eric, come back to bed. A voice whispers from inside his mind. He sees a city, a home, family and children. He can't sleep. They're not alone in the universe. The Ares Project is going to... His ghost is screaming. A shell coming apart at the seams. Joxer pulls himself back into reality and jerks the controls as the nose of the hawk touches the portal. He hears laughter, screams, feels lips on his cheek, hands on his shoulder as the ship begins to pass through. His ghost's scream stretches from the moment of the Big Bang to the heat death of the universe. Joxer hears a scream he will make as his ship begins and ends. Come back to bed. He catches up to the scream. Sometime later, Lord Shax and the Drifter would pay their respects to Joxer. In the book, Two Old Friends. Not much sense in memorializing anyone during the Dark Age. Anyone worth remembering, you'd hang on to them without trying. Drifter crouches down in front of the ironwood tree, mindful of the offerings littering the ground, the amulets. Nothing fancy, not one of those Iron Lord tokens, but handmade. And with some care, Joxer's name is easy to read. Crisp lettering. Dumb heroics will get you every time. Volunteering. First one through so the rest of us know not to try it. Drifter smirks. He'd have a fighting chance against a Primeval. Big payout if he made it. Cleaner death if he didn't. Lord Shax shifts his weight. His helmet cants towards the Drifter. But then you wouldn't be standing here. There's no reply. And that, fellas, is the end of Joxer's story. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Stay safe out there.